so good to see you again for Friday Family Story Time. I'm Miss Stephanie and I'm going to read some books with you today. I have some really good books that I'm excited to share with you. But before we start reading, as always, we have to warm up our hands and wave hello to each other. We wave hello like this. We wave hello like this. With all our friends at Story Time, we wave hello like this. Hello! Good morning. Well, I have some fun books to share with you, and the first one I have is called The Blue House, and it's written and illustrated by Phoebe Wall, and I really, really enjoy her illustrations a lot, so I thought I would share this book with you. Leo lived with his dad in an old blue house next to a tall fir tree. Can you see it? There are two tall trees, but there's only one tall fir tree, an evergreen tree. The paint was peeling, and the roof was mossy. There were leaks and creaks, and when the wind blew, the whole thing shook. But it was theirs. Leo loved the blue house in winter with its hiding places and cozy spaces. When the old heater broke, they would bake a pie just to warm up the kitchen. They would dance. That does seem fun. Leo loved the blue house in the summer with its garden full of raspberries and tomatoes. He would play in the yard until the sun went down. Lately, there was all kinds of construction going on in the neighborhood. Big new apartments were going up next door and across the road. Leo would watch the backhoes and trucks out of his window. They looked like tiny toys. I'm worried. Ours will be next, he heard his dad say on the phone one night. But Leo knew his dad was wrong. The blue house would be theirs forever. One day, Leo's dad picked him up from school, but instead of going home, they got ice cream and went to the beach. I got a letter from the landlord today, Leo's dad said. They've sold our house and it's going to be torn down. I'm sorry, bud, but we're going to have to move. Leo was angry. How could someone just take their house away? He kicked and screamed and locked himself in his room. They couldn't tear it down if he never came out. But Leo got hungry and after a while went down for dinner. I'm angry too, his dad said. So after they ate, they danced and stomped and raged together. They shredded on guitar and Leo did a special scream solo. It made both of them a little less mad. Soon the blue house began to fill up with boxes. Every day another familiar object was packed away. When the blue house was empty, it was echoey and drafty like a hollow shell. The walls look so naked, said Leo. Let's paint them, said his dad. It made both of them a little less sad. The new house felt empty too. It didn't feel like home. I hate it, said Leo. That's okay, said his dad. One day, Leo and his dad walked by the hole where the blue house had been. When they shut their eyes, they could see it clearly, hear every floorboard's creak and the drip of the faucet's leak. But when they opened them again, their house was gone. That night, as Leo lay in bed staring at the empty walls of his new room, he had an idea. What if we painted it, Leo said. Good thinking, said his dad. Then together they mixed the perfect shade of blue. And it made them both feel a little more at home. They painted a picture of the blue house. Little by little, familiar objects began to appear in the new house. After school one day, Leo and his dad baked a pie in the kitchen. And that night, they unpacked the stereo and danced and stomped and sang until it was time for bed. Leo had been right. The blue house would be theirs forever, and with each passing day, the new house was becoming theirs too. And there's a picture of the neighborhood. I like Phoebe Wall's books. Now, this book I have is called Nerp, and it's written and illustrated by Sarah Lynn Ruhl, and it has only nonsense words, and I thought that we should read it. Nerp. Erp. Nerp. Frizzle frazzle hotchy potch. Hotchy potch? Nerp. Mushy gushy blue barsh? Mushy gushy nerpy nerp. I feel like maybe nerp means no. Squishalicious wumpaglump? Pickle fishy verp? Nerpity, 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 nerp. Oogly boogly? Scrumplenash? Yuccaroni smackintosh? Garble snarfy barble crunch? Yumptious chickamoo? Skizzle clumps and gizzard lumps? Verpy gerpaloo? Do any of those sound good to you? Yumptious chickamoo. I might try that. Erp. Slurp, slurp, slurp. Slurp, slurp, slurp. Oh no, he's not eating their yummy food. He's eating the dog's food. Blurp, flurp, schmurp, yerp. And he's getting all the yummy table food. Yerpity, yerpity, yerpy, yerp. They're both full. That was pretty silly. The foods got all mixed up. Nerp. I really enjoyed reading that. Well, this next book is called This Old Dog, and it's written by Martha Brockenborough, and it's illustrated by Gabriel Albarozo. This Old Dog. And there he is. Oops. There he is. As the sun fills the sky with light, Old Dog wakes. His bones are sore, but his heart is strong. It thumps, and so does his tail. Thump, 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 thump. Old Dog's glad to see a new day. Thump, 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 thump. He stands and yawns and bends this way and that. He pads to his bowl and eats his food and slurps his drink and helps clean up. Thump, thump. It's time for a walk. Oh, how his old hips ache, his old knees yip, his old back whines. But it's not just that. The speed of life since the girl was born is fast, fast, fast. And Old Dog likes to take things slow. He wants to sniff each blade of grass. He wants to take the time to find a just right rock. And he wants to hear the leaves tell what it's like to live in a tree. But the rest of the world has lots to do. He drifts to sleep in a stripe of sun and dreams of days gone by. Of balls and lakes and friends, of long walks and deep sniffs. When he wakes, he thinks it would be nice to have a friend for long, slow strolls. A friend who looks at grass and sniffs and says, "Let's roll in this." A friend who loves to play in piles of leaves, who'll spend all day on the hunt for a just right rock. His heart thumps, his tail does not. Oh, he would really like a friend. But then, in the pale blue room near Old Dog's bed, a pair of feet touch the ground for the first time. Thump, thump. "You can walk!" Walk? Old Dog knows that word. He finds his girl. She stands on two strong feet. She takes one slow step, and then one more. Thump, 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 all the way to him. Old Dog and small girl walk side by side. She stops to smell the grass. Do you remember who else likes to smell the grass? They roll down the hill. She finds a just right rock and squeals, and then she lifts a leaf and sets it down on Old Dog's head. It's a crown of gold. It makes him so proud that all four paws leave the ground at once. Thump, 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 thump. That night, small girl and Old Dog both go to sleep in the soft gold room. They meet in a dream, and in the light of the moon walk side by side through the world, the wonderful world. And that's the end. Isn't it cute? They become best friends. He wished for a friend and she learned to walk, and they had adventures together. Well, this one is called The Tiny Baker by Haley Barrett, illustrated by Allison J. I love a book about a tiny baker. Let's see. The tiny baker offers sweets, a chalkboard list of daily treats, puff pastry, custard caramel, to tempt her tea room's clientele. There's the menu. Pecan pralines, lemon tarts, cream puffs, Florentines, chocolate cake, strawberry cake, eclairs. Bon appetit, that sounds delicious. Her customers line up in rows, antennae wave, well-bred hellos. They're always elegantly dressed, silk gowns or trousers neatly pressed. They wait to try her lemon tarts, her sugar-sprinkled cookie hearts, to sample her pecan pralines and nibble fancy Florentines. You wiggle your antennae. Before the baker opens up, she straightens out a china cup, confirms the pantry is pristine, each surface burnished to a sheen. Her spotty squad is all astir, their whisks are whisking, mixers were. Just as the clock begins to chime, her door swings open right on time. The baker bows to greet them all, then ushers aunts, the tall and small. Straight to her tea room's pretty chair, she mentions her sublime eclairs and offers them pink lemonade or rose hip iced tea, freshly made. But in the kitchen, trouble brews. A fragrant breeze brings flighty news. Uh-oh, what could be happening? The urgent call to swarm away, prepare for takeoff, no delay. Uh-oh, all the ladybugs are going. The baker, meanwhile, beams with pride, congratulates a groom and bride, then pats an antling on the head and goes to check her gingerbread. What is she going to find when she checks on that gingerbread? Oh dear. She bustles through the kitchen door to find it in complete uproar. Disaster struck while she was out, a cataclysmic turnabout. Her pastry chefs have flown the coop, one red enormous dotty troop. They ditched their frostings, dumped their pies, forsook their candy butterflies. The oven's smoking, kettle glows, the souffle batter overflows, dark chocolate drips from ceiling fans and drizzles onto pots and pans. What a mess! A sudden noise, ba-ba-ba-boom, reverberates around the room. The ice cream maker has exploded, as some might say it alamoded. A teacup clatters to the floor as aunts rush through the kitchen door to see her slumped amidst the mess, bewildered, flummoxed, in distress. White sugar drifts like softest snow atop her puffy hat below. Cricket sounds the call to action, setting off an ant reaction. To do what ants do very best, they work together without rest. To clean, to move, to clear, to mend, to help their tiny baker friend. Oh, that's so nice. They dust her off and stand her up, pour her a piping ant-sized cup. When all is right, they sit back down, retrieve their hat or smooth their gown, and sip their sweet rose hip iced tea while Cricket chirps his melody. The tiny baker blinks her eyes. She shakes her head in stunned surprise. A half a minute past, no more. The kitchen gleams just like before. No chocolate drips, no sugar snow, no scorching kettle all aglow, no souffle mess, no alamo, no traces of the episode. It's all completely cleaned up. For me, she dabs a tiny tear. For you, they say, of course, my dear. You're our delightful baker chum, and tea time treats aren't why we come. Though they're delicious, we agree, it's you we truly came to see. Blushing, the baker lifts a tray. Sweet friends, your efforts saved the day. I hope you all adore eclairs. My treat, and thank you, she declares. Her polished guests are not in accord, their tranquil tea time now restored. Each night, before she goes to sleep, the baker counts not woolly sheep, but friends, true friends who care enough to pitch right in when things get tough. And that's the end. Well, friends, I hope you liked all of those stories. I enjoyed sharing them with you, and I will see you again next week. Bye.